Today I'm very lucky to be interviewing
Jeff Kinney.
Jeff Kinney, author of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Hi, Jeff. Thank you for agreeing to this interview. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
I just wrote my newest book, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Long Haul, and Hard Luck. And the Hard Luck is about him and his grandma. His grandma passed away in the book, and she lost her 3-stone diamond ring because she did crazy Easter hunts.
Well, let's ask some questions about the book a little later. I've got a few more questions for you.
Okay.
What were you like at school?
I was always writing, and I loved to read, and I still love to read. That's why I went into consideration of writing books and for kids.
Were you good at English?
Well, yes, I was. I loved doing like Spanish and stuff like that because you had to write a lot, and it was very fun to write for me. I know that's not like that for some kids, but it was for fun for me.
So what have you written?
I've written all the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series. We have Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Diary of a Wimpy Kid Logic Rules, Diary of a Wimpy Kid Last Straw, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, I kind of can't remember all of them.
So, where could we buy them?
Barnes & Noble, Walmart, Dillon's, Walgreens. I'm not sure so much about Dillon's. Maybe Sam's. And most likely, the best bet is Barnes & Noble.
Give us some insight into your main character on your latest book.
Well, Greg, he's in middle school, and he's not the best, person you'd say, because he's not perfect. He's not what everybody wants him to be, and his brother Roderick is a teenager in high school, but he is not very good in school. He's mean to him, and Greg has this friend Rowley. He always, in the beginning of the movie, he says he's not ready for middle school yet, but he's actually more mature than Greg,
Okay.
I would say.
So, what's so special about the Roderick character in the book?
He actually, in the Roderick Rules book and the movie, he helps Greg out, in the mall, and he takes him, and he actually starts liking him, and then he gets grounded, and then he doesn't really like Greg anymore, and Roderick is more of a, he listens to heavy metal music, he wears eyeshadow that's Sharpie, and stuff like that.
So, what is the contrast between the two characters, between Roderick and his brother Greg?
Greg also has another brother. He has Manny, which he is about 5 years old, and he gets away with everything. Greg has a video game system, Manny smashes it and makes it unusable, and he doesn't get in trouble for it. He draws all over the walls and doesn't get in trouble for it, but Greg gets in trouble for the smallest things you can think of, like when his mom's glasses got broke by Manny, Greg got in trouble for it, and Roderick doesn't really like either of them.
Okay. What genre are your books?
They're fiction, and I don't know if it's true or not, because I just kind of thought of a random story. This could have happened, there's a possibility, but it's 0 to none.
So what actor or actress would you like to see playing your characters?
Well, I don't really know if I have one. I would like to play one, and I'd have a few friends play one if they wanted to.
Okay. How much research do you do?
I do kind of do a lot for spelling and stuff, because I'm not the best speller. And I do kind of a lot of research with my write your own books, because you want to know what kids want in that. If they want blank ate my homework or blank stole this. That's what you kind of want to, but you can make ones that are what did my homework and what got it right.
Okay. Do you write every day?
Yes, I do, because I do participate in college. I like doing college, and I write every day and do assignments.
Where do your ideas come from?
My head.
Okay. So what is the hardest thing about writing?
Writing the whole book. Just like thinking about sitting down every day, writing a book, and then at the end of the day your hand hurts bad and stuff like that. But that writing, that pain, so to speak, is money, because all those books are selling a lot.
What do you do? Do you work to on an outline or plot, or do you prefer just to see where the idea takes you?
See where the idea takes me, because I'm not a huge thinker, to be honest. I just like to see where the idea leads, and if it's good or not. And if it's not, I'll just write it again and then see where it takes me again.
Okay. Well, let's go back to the last book that you wrote, Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Long Haul.
Long Haul. So, you've told me so far that the characters are Roderick and
Manny,
his brother,
his
Manny,
mom,
and
his dad.
And then is there a grandmother involved in this one?
Well, she's not mainly in it, but there's a family called the Beardos that are in it.
And what about them? Where do they play?
They cause a big problem, because when they're at this water park, Soak Central, until when their van is getting fixed in the trip, they got a locker, and there was a lot of them, and they took their lawn chair that was the only one left, and the Heffleys weren't that too fond of that, and they ended up fighting a locker that they thought they had. 292 was their actual locker,
Mm-hmm.
and Greg said it was 929, and it wasn't.
Birds chewed on the TV.
And they ended up being in 929, and all their credit cards, their wallets, their phones were in there.
So in the story, they're traveling through the states. So how does it all end up?
It ends up doing really well, because all the family makes it back in one piece, and their van doesn't. But like, one of the problems in it is their sunroof flies off while they're driving, and Roderick goes to throw Greg goes to throw a cheese puff out the window. A seagull gets it, and then they all start fighting, and one flies into the van.
So, well, thank you for elaborating on that last book you've written. Just have a couple more questions for you. Which one of the books you've written is your favorite?
Probably The Long Haul, because it's got a problem, and it all turns out right. But in the other ones, it kind of doesn't, but it kind of does, because either Manny gets the turnout, Roderick gets the turnout, or Greg gets the turnout. But I liked it because all of them get the turnout. But because Greg gets a phone, Roderick gets a phone, and Manny gets his own pet pig that he gets from a petting zoo, and he won. And Greg and Roderick got bit by that pig, and they had to go to the vet, and because they would know more about pig bites. But everything turned out all right.
Okay, well, one last question. How can readers discover more about your work?
They can go online, search up Jeff Kenny, and they can read my books, read the catalogs in the back, and go online, read all of the books. The whole story makes sense. I suggest reading them in order, because you won't really get to know the characters, who they are first. And that's all I have for that book. I have one for The Last Straw. I watched the movie of The Last Straw. I loved it. It really just expressed out the book too, because the first one, I watched that too, and it's a very good book. Now, Dog Days, I happen to not be too fond of that one. It's a good book. You should get it and read it, but I just didn't like it because nothing really turns out right in the end.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add that I have not included in this interview?
Well, you should go online and check out Jeff Kenny's books or download them on a tablet, computer, phone, anything electronic that you can download apps and books on. Mostly a Kindle. That'd be really good for books.
Okay, and I'd just like to end with one last question. Who is your favorite character?
Who's my favorite character? My favorite character has to be the mom. Because she's really funny and she's not overprotective, but she's not underprotective. She's a really great mom in the story, and she's really nice to her kids. She grounds them a lot because they do the things and they deserve to be grounded in the story. But one in Roderick Rules, they had a huge party and they ended up cleaning it up, but they took pictures of it and they got in trouble. Well, in the story, I think if they cleaned it up and they got everything and they cleaned it up, but their parents told them not to. Like, if they didn't tell them not to, but then they cleaned it up, I thought that was okay, but I thought I'd put that twist in there.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kenny, for your interview today. I appreciate your time.